Shalom, shalom, shalom. What's the word, y'all? What is the word? Oh, if y'all haven't already, just released a video dealing with a Ashkenazi man. So make sure that y'all go and watch that. If y'all got the free time, which I know y'all do. Lord in Christ. You are beaming on me with this light. How y'all feeling today? On this beautiful Friday. What the hell? Lord willing, I gotta change this. Hold on. No, that's fine. Blessed in captivity is true. What's going on? Blessed in captivity, because we can't complain with the Most High. Put a one in the chat. My audio is smooth. I don't know what's going on my phone. Why it won't let me watch it. Hold on. Okay, we smooth. I got to get back to the mic. I don't even know where it's at. I ain't gonna hold you. Oh, it's over there on the floor. That way y'all can hear me better. But the problem is that it's funky going live because I won't be able to hear if somebody joins or if I'm going back and forth with somebody. I won't be able to hear them. But it's all smooth though. We gotta deal with what we got. So, as you see, conquering the carnal mind, right? Changing our thought process, right? So I know I just ate some chicken, and now it's about to make me mad. I know I got a couple series going on through the Spirit and Power. Prophecies on Sunday, which is not going to be this Sunday because we got a debate on Sunday. Yes, the first dude backed out, lacked his faith, but somebody else filled in for his position, right? So all praise to the Most High. You know what? I might have some quick smoke. I ain't gonna hold you. But the Sundays is dedicated to prophecy, right? Last Sunday we went over Ezekiel 4. The Sunday before that we went over Genesis 15, dealing with the 400-year prophecy. Yeah, you fit better right there. Tuesdays is dealing with more like archaeology, history, things of that essence. So all praise for that. But I do want to start another little series. It shouldn't really, it's not something that is a long series, but dealing with overcoming the flesh, right? Fighting the flesh. How do we do it, right? How do we go about it? Especially in this walk, it's great for beginners to fight the flesh, right? And know how to. So let's get into it. Hopefully y'all days is going smooth, like I said. But the first part is changing our thought process, right? So when we read something, let's pull this up. Right now, a lot of people be talking about Paul. Paul he's just a brother, right? We all mess up. He messed up a little bit more, considering that he was killing those who believed in Yahushua. Um, so, oh, okay, I'm not even sharing my screen, huh? Nope. What is wrong with bro? Why are you so emotional? Oh my God, I knew he was gonna do this. He said he wanted all the smoke, but now it has to be on Instagram. So, First Corinthians, Romans 10 and 14. Right, again, this is the beginning process of us, really changing and overcoming the flesh. Right, and so it reads, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? Right, how can you call on Yahweh if you don't believe him? Right, why would you call on him um if you don't know who he is? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? Meaning, how can you believe on something that you don't know about? Right, you've never been taught the proper doctrine, you've never been corrected the do's and the don'ts. Right, so how can you believe on somebody that you ain't never heard of? And it says, and how shall they hear without a preacher? Meaning, how can you hear unless somebody is teaching you? Right, but it's showing you the thought process, or the process, I should just say, coming to fear the Lord. Right, you hear about him, then you believe on him, and then you call on him. Right, and then you put forth the effort. Right, and then he goes to speak in verse 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings, things of good things. It's like it. Bring glad tidings of good things. Oh, Lord. So let's go to the AMP. Oh, I can still use this, matter of fact, in Romans 12. All right, watch this. This is one of my favorite verses. Clearly, I got a lot of favorite verses. Right, Romans 12 and 2 in the AMP. It says, and do not be conformed. I should go live on Instagram. He do got a point. I ain't gonna hold you. I should start going live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. And do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and customs, but be transformed and progressively changed as you mature spiritually. Meaning, when you not so beautiful anymore. What are you talking about? What you got going on? Because you always be in the comment section. I don't know who you is, but you look like you always be talking about me. Whatever. Um, but constantly mature, um, constantly mature, spiritually as you walk, right? The um, as you mature spiritually, right? So constantly as you walk in, be in the spirit, right? So when we read Exodus, we read Exodus 23 and 13. It says, and in all things I have said unto you, be circumspect, right? So be cautious, be aware. Let's go into the word circumspect. Oh, he's sending voicemails, bro. I'm not listening to that dude. So circumspect meaning to keep, guard, observe, give heed, have charge over, to keep watch, to protect, save life, right? So constantly be on guard in all things, right, that he has commanded us, meaning, well, that he has said to us, meaning the law, being circumspect in everything, right, in the spirit, right, and in the flesh. It says, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. We're going back to Romans 12:2. It says, but be transformed and progressively changed as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind, right? So you have to renew your mind. Let's look at that word for renewing, right? G34 or 342, I should say. It says renewal, renovation, complete change for the better, meaning your mind. This is why Christ says, if you commit adultery in your heart, which is in your mind, or look at a woman with lust in your heart, he's talking about a married woman, you've already committed adultery, meaning before you do something, you got to contemplate on it, right? Before you, boom. As you learn more, you should be doing better, right? It's important because, I'm gonna bring out that precept in a second. But remember, constantly change for the better, right? And it all starts in your mind, right? Because if you don't believe, how can you properly have faith if you don't believe, right? If you don't wholeheartedly change your ways within yourself, you're just going to have a clean cup on the outside and not on the inside, right? That's going into the next lesson, which I'm over here doing too much. So it says, focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes. That's what we have to be focused on, right? Mentally, we have to be focused on godly values, not worldly values, not fleshly values, but things that come from God, right? Focusing on the end of reward that we shall receive. It says, so that you may prove for yourselves what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect in his plan and purpose for you, right? So it all starts in the brain. Live for life. That's where it all starts, right? Because if you don't, if you don't change it in your brain, all you did was clean the outside of the cup and not the inside, right? No. So watch. So watch. This is the word for let me show you. Right? Make mention of the name. Right? So remind, to cause, to remember, keep in remembrance, to make a memorial, to make to mention, to record, to be brought to remembrance, to remember, be thought of, be brought to mind. When we look, it says still to think on, well, be mindful. Right? Record earnestly, make mention. Right? So not saying that you can't say it, but rather you constantly holding on to it, right? A browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. I wasn't trying to share my screen share audio. Hold on. I don't know what this is talking about. No, we still so far, okay. I mean, if you don't want to join the live, that's fine, bro. I'm not gonna sit up and beg you to join the live. So far, we understand that everything starts in the mind, right? Before you can act out, you have to believe that you are doing what you're supposed to do, right? That this is the proper way to go. If you don't believe that, then everything that comes after that is vain, right? Now, if you're having doubts on following the Lord, that doesn't mean that that's the Lord telling you not to follow him, right? Because let's read this in SICARRI really quick. All right, true. Because I don't think people properly understand what this is talking about, which is fine. Sirach 2 and oh, yeah, I can't. Sirach 2 and 1 in the GNT. Right, it says, my child, if you are going to serve the Lord, be prepared for times when you will be put to the test. Right. So when you begin to put fringes on, abstain from eating certain things, keeping the customs of the feast that we're supposed to keep in memorial. When you begin to do those things, be prepared for times that you'll be put to the test, meaning you're going to be put in a position to where a thought may come up in your head saying, do not keep doing this, right? Change what you're doing. Stop following the Lord. It is your job to be prepared for those times and overcome those times, right? Philippians 4 and I can Philippians 4 and 8 in the AMP, right? I could start up, but I don't want to. Well, I'm gonna start here. Philippians 4 and 8 in the AMP. It says, finally, believers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable and worthy of respect, whatever is right and confirmed by God's words, whatever is pure and wholesome, whatever is lovely and brings peace, whatever is admirable and of good repute. If there is any excellency or excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think continually on these things. Center your mind on them and implant them in your heart. So it's important to constantly, one, you got to be able to you have to be able to understand what you believe in, right? Because again, if you just believing on something that you don't know, it's you're not gonna know if it's true or not, right? So that area of second guessing what you're believing in is always gonna be there because you don't know what you're walking into, right? So it's always important to okay, it's always important to know what you're believing on, right? But it says whatever is right and confirmed by God's words, right? So what is written in his book, whatever is pure and wholesome, lovely and brings peace, admirable and of good repute, if there is any excellence, anything that is worthy of praise, think continually on these things, right? Meaning, always read your Bible, always keep it on you, right? These pocket Bibles are smooth. You can get it on Amazon. I don't like the one with the case on it, but y'all can get that. That's up to y'all. That way, if you're bored, you can just pull it out and just read it, right? Phones die. That's why I recommend getting an actual book. But it says, center your mind on them and implant them in your heart, meaning this is your life, right? Again, this is all starting with the mind, you thinking upon these things and not letting them go, right? Because once you begin to let them go, you begin to fall away, right? So again, the first part of conquering the carnal mind is changing our thought process, right? You got to change the way you think. And one of the biggest things that everybody should change is this, right? Sirach 5 in the GNT. We're going to start at we're going to start at verse 3, right? Starting right here. It says, don't think that no one can exercise authority over you. If you do, the Lord is certain to punish you, right? There's just an order, structure. That's how things work. Don't think that you can sin and get away with it. The Lord does not mind waiting to punish you. That is the number one thing people should never think like. I've been doing this and I'm good, right? Because the Lord does not mind waiting to punish you, right? So don't think that you can sin and get away with it because you got a reward coming, right? Just because it didn't it wasn't the hell? It wasn't put on you. You didn't receive this punishment right away. That doesn't mean that it's not coming your way, right? So part of conquering the carnal mind and changing our thought process is changing that thought, right? Specifically, don't think that you can sin and get away with it because the Lord doesn't mind waiting to punish you. It says, don't be so certain of the Lord's forgiveness that you can go on committing one sin after another. Don't think that his mercy is so great that he will forgive your sins no matter how many they are. He does show mercy, but he also shows his furious anger with sinners, right? So don't think that just because you've been smooth for a little bit and you haven't been punished for what you've been doing, don't think that you're good, right? Don't think that everything's smooth. Don't think that everything's fine and dandy. Don't be doing all that, right? What you should think of is that the next verse, right? Verse 7, it says, come back to the Lord quickly. Don't think that you can keep putting it off. His anger can come upon you suddenly and you will die under his punishment. Don't rely on dishonest wealth. It would do you no good on the day of disaster, right? So constantly changing that thought process of, yeah, I sinned. I shouldn't do that no more, right? Constantly working on that spirit, working on that thought process, and not the thought process of, oh, God's going to forgive me because he shows great mercy. He does show great mercy, but his wrath is always upon the sinners, right? That is one of the thought process that we should change, not only individually, but as a people, right? So going back to Philippians 4 and 8, center your mind on them, right? Constantly have them written on your heart. Right, there was another thought process, but I want to get that in a second. I want to go here. Romans 13 and 14 in the AMP. It says, but clothe yourselves with the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach and make no provision for, nor even think about gratifying the flesh in regard to its improper desires. Watch this. Maybe that's doing too much in that translation. This is in the NLT. Instead, clothe yourself with the presence of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and don't let yourself think about ways to indulge your evil desires, right? So say somebody struggles with smoking cigarettes, right? I never had that struggle, but say somebody did have that struggle, right? Everybody got different struggles. If you find yourself putting yourself in that environment to smoke, right? Or maybe you're thinking about smoking, maybe you're contemplating on it. Do something that gets you out of that mindset, right? It says, don't let yourself think about ways to indulge your evil desires, meaning you have to have that discipline to catch the devil in his act, right? Us brothers cannot do it all the time. You have to do it within yourself. You have to be able to, as you're walking around your house, maybe you might be thinking of something. No, I can't do that. No. You know what I'm saying? Say a little quick prayer. Because again, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. Therefore, if we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, how can we? I gotta get that off. How can we fight the spirits and principalities? You cannot duke it out with a spirit. You can't do that. You can duke it out with a man, but you can't do that with a spirit. You have to get the spirit to fight against the spirit, right? That's something that you have to ask Yahweh for, that he may send his son and the angels to help you combat those spirits, right? Because that literally is our helper, right? Our helper is not our own two fists. We can't do that, right? So you got to be able to fight that spirit and change your thought process with the spirit, right? You fight spirit with spirit. You also fight the flesh with spirit. Sloppy. Ephesians. Now, the AMP is probably one of my favorite translations. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Ephesians 4:22 in the AMP. Verse 21. It says, if in fact you have really heard him and have been taught by him, just as the truth in Yahushua, revealed in his life and personified in him, that regarding your previous way of life, which is your sinful nature, right? Whether you had a problem selling drugs, whether you had a problem physically harming your people, robbing your people, not caring about God, selling the things that like pork. Maybe you're a cook. You used to cook the things and, you know, serve people there. Whatever have you, right? We all were sinners in our past life. And we all have sinned, right? But regarding your previous life, you put off your old self completely, discard your former nature, which is being corrupted through deceitful desires, right? So the way of your flesh is evil as hell, right? So when you begin to now focus on the carnal aspect of things, you're gonna fail, right? You have to stay in the spirit. As we read in Exodus 23:13, we got to be circumspect in all things, right? Constantly on our toes, because our adversary, the devil, comes very quickly, right? He's not playing no games, right? Watch this. It's too much. Doom, 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 doom. Watch this. This is cold right here, man. This is cold. So Matthew 12. Let me see which one I want. It might be in Luke 11. Yes, Luke 11. Let me read what the NLT says real quick. Yeah. So watch this, right? This is for y'all. Luke 11:20. It says, but if I am casting out demons by the power of God, then the kingdom of God has arrived among you. For when a strong man like Satan is fully armed and guards his palace, his possessions are safe. So we can apply that to us, right? When Satan, when Satan is fully armed, what he got on the helmet, he got the switch, he got the breastplate, he got the shoulders, he got the thighs, the knees, the shins, everything just girded up, right? And he guards his palace, right? We understand that we are the temple of the Most High. So he's guarding what he wants, which would be your body, right? His possessions are safe, right? When you're doing what Satan wants you to do, his possessions are safe according to him, right? Doing what he wants it to do. Verse 22, until someone even stronger attacks and overpowers him. You're not stronger than Satan. You're not. By yourself, you are not stronger than Satan. You need Yahushua, right? You need Yahweh. You need a spiritual guardian to help you overcome that battle. So it says, until someone even stronger attacks and overpowers him, strips him of his weapons, and carries off his belongings, meaning somebody has came and overpowered him, right? Moved him off the block. It says, anyone who isn't with me opposes me, and anyone who isn't working, who isn't working with me is actually working against me. Watch this. When an evil spirit leaves a person, right? When you have overcame that demon of smoking, when you overcame that demon of being a thief, being a murderer in your heart, selling drugs, disobeying the Sabbath, wearing whatever you want to wear, when you overcame that demon, it says when an evil spirit leaves a person, it goes into the desert, searching for rest. But when it finds none, it says, I'll return to the person I came from, meaning he gonna come back, right? So you overcame that demon of smoking, you're smooth for a little bit, but guess what? He gonna spin the block, right? But how? Verse 25. So it returns and finds that that its former home is all swept and in order. Then the spirit finds 7 other spirits more evil than itself, meaning it's stronger than itself, right? It gets down differently, right? It brings more sin upon this man. It says, then the spirit finds 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they all enter the person and live therein. And so that person is worse off than before. So you have to be prepared when them 7 evil spirits, more wicked than the first one that you casted out, you got to be prepared for when he come back, right? And it all starts with changing your thought process, right? You're girding yourself up. You're aware that he's gonna keep attacking you, so you have to be able to understand what is of God and what is not of God. Some people can't do that, right? Some people do need somebody who will literally walk with them, right? I'm not saying women can't do it by themselves. Of course they can. But sometimes a woman might need help from a husband to guide her spiritually. Sometimes a man may need help, right? But in all actuality, it goes back to our thought process, right? How we think, right? Conquering the carnal mind by changing our thought process, right? So let's go. Any questions? Let me do that. Any questions? We got about 30 more minutes. Any questions? Let's see. All praises. So I had an ignorant nigga trying to tell me what to do concerning my life, right? Let's go. He acting like I'm on his time. It's hilarious. You know what? I might. That's what I might do. Colossians 2:20. If you had died with Christ to the elementary principles of the world, why, as if you were still living in the world, do you submit to rules and regulations such as do not handle this, do not taste that, do not even touch? These things all perish with use in accordance with the commandments and teachings of men. Watch this. Let's read this in the NLT. It says, you have died with Christ, and he has set you free from the spiritual powers of this world. So why do you keep on following the rules of the world, such as don't handle, don't taste, don't touch? Such rules are mere human teachings about things that deteriorate as we use them. Now, I know a Christian can use this and say, see, you worried about the law of Moses. That was written by a man. Okay, smooth. But the law of Moses was given by God. So that's not just something that was given by man. It was given by God, right? Nehemiah 10 and 29. Verse 23, this is the point. These rules may seem wise because they require strong devotion, pious self-denial, and severe bodily discipline, but they provide no help in conquering a person's evil desires. Right? That's what we ought to do. We have to be able to conquer our evil desires continually. Now, watch this. Because I ain't got to be nowhere until 6. Yeah, I'm finna go live on Instagram. Tell that nigga to join right after that. So, any questions? Right? Today was just a short class. We premiered a video earlier. I was supposed to have a debate, but that got pushed. But I know y'all might have seen the thumbnail for the previous debate. He did back out, which is all smooth because I got somebody else to fill his spot. So that's all good though. So we still got that debate on Sunday, but it's dealing with the Gentiles of the New Testament. That's what it's dealing with. Not the law of Moses. It's dealing with Gentiles, right? Who are the Gentiles in the New Testament? And can they receive salvation? Right? So y'all stay tuned to that. But if there is no questions, we're gonna conclude this class. Yes, sir, you are. You have to go back and rewatch what's happening, right? Conquering the carnal mind, changing our thought process, right? Now, I'm probably finna go live on Instagram and talk to this knucklehead. I don't even know what he want to talk to, but I feel like entertaining because he's talking shit. And I feel in the mood to debate and talk shit at the same time, right? So make sure y'all stay tuned for the SICARRI Phoenix Instagram. Because we about to get active. Because I ain't got to go to camp, or not camp, but to do this work till 5:30. That's an hour. Yeah, I'm probably finna go live right now. So, yeah, man, with that, I want to say, call Allah Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. That's all praise to the Most High in the name of His only begotten Son, who the word in the cause Jesus Christ. Right, Kwam Yashua, and y'all stay safe out there. Right, like the video and share the video. Right, shalom, y'all.